Mrs. Honey took the boat to the other side.
To the other side of the island.
To the other side of the island.
Mm-hmm.
You can get out and explore, she said. Explore, she said. If you keep quiet, you will see all kinds of interesting seabirds. The children jumped out of the boat and went to look around the island.
To look around the island.
To look around the island. The children
jumped out of the boat.
The children jumped out of the boat and went
to around the island.
And
went to look around
the island.
Look around the island.
Look around the island.
Right, not the D.
The children saw a small cave. They ran to see it. I wonder if it has treasure in it, called Wilf. Maybe it's a secret tunnel, and maybe it's
a secret tunnel.
It's a secret tunnel, said Nadine. Maybe it leads to a secret computer base. But when they got to the cave, they found something else. Something else. In the cave were some drums.
Drums?
I don't like the look of this, said Mrs. Honey. These drums have been dumped on Green Island. They are full of toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
No, toxic waste.
Toxic.
No, toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
No, I said toxic.
Toxic.
No, look at me. Not toxic. Toxic.
Toxic.
Right, toxic.
Toxic waste.
Right.
Keep away from there, everyone, said Mr. Johnson. Why would anyone want to dump them here? Asked Biff. It's hard to get rid of
toxic waste. No, not toxic. Toxic.
Toxic.
No, not toxic. Toxic waste. No, look at me. Look at mommy. Toxic waste. Toxic.
Toxic.
No, toxic.
Toxic
waste. Right.
Said Mrs. May. It costs a lot of money to do it safely.
No.
So
it costs a lot of money to do it safely.
It costs a lot.
No, it's not. It costs. No, it costs. No, it costs. Costs. Okay, a lot of money.
A lot of money
to do it
safely, so people dump it. Oh. We should tell the police, said Mr. Johnson. These drums can't stay here, said Mrs. Honey.
These drums can't stay here.
These drums can't stay here, said Mrs. Honey. They could do a lot of harm
to the wildlife. Okay.
Suddenly, Chip and Wilf ran up to Mr. Johnson. There is a boat coming to the island, said Chip. There are 4 people in it. I don't like the sound of this, said Mr. Johnson. Keep out of sight, everyone, said Mrs. Honey. I want to see what these people are doing. What these people are doing.
Okay, here. Coming to the island.
Coming to the island.
No?
Coming to the island.
Right. What are these people doing? Oh my God, they're dumping the toxic waste again.
Yes. The boat stopped at the island.
At the island,
and 4 people got out. They lifted some drums and out of the boat.
They lifted some drums
out of the boat and began to carry them towards the cave. They're dumping more waste on the island.
They're dumping more waste.
They're dumping more waste on the island, said Mrs. Honey. I want everyone to run back to my boat. Don't make a sound. I have
an idea. What idea? I wonder.
The children did what Mrs. Honey told them. They ran to the boat with Mrs. May and climbed in. I hope the boat will start, said Mrs. May. If it doesn't, I don't know what we shall do. Do you think those people
are dangerous?
Those people are dangerous? Asked Chip. Wilf and Chip pushed the boat out with the oars, and Mrs. May started the engine.
Started the engine.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good, said Mrs. May. Let's hope Mrs. Honey's idea works. I hope
Mrs. Honey and Mr. Johnson.
I hope Mrs. Honey and Mr. Johnson will be all right, said Wilf.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Honey's idea worked.
Mrs. Honey's
idea worked. She and Mr. Johnson had taken the other boat. The other people couldn't get off the island without it. Hooray! Shouted the children. They won't get off Green Island unless they swim all the way back. What are you doing with our boat? Shouted the man. Bring it back. I'll get the police to bring it back.
I'll get the police, not police.
I'll get the police to bring it back, shouted Mrs. Honey. You can tell them why you dumped
toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
No, toxic.
Toxic.
No.
I don't know.
Toxic.
Toxic.
Don't say toxic.
It's waste on Green Island. Grrr, said the man.
Mm-hmm.
The police took the people.
Not police. Police.
The police took the people off the island.
Off the island.
Taking their boat was a brilliant idea, said Mr. John. Taking their boat was a brilliant idea, said Mr. Johnson. I'm glad we caught them, said Mrs. Honey. And I'm glad you were with me. I couldn't have taken the other boat by myself. Their boat by myself.
Mm-hmm.
What an adventure, said Mrs. May. Look at those drums of...
Now you do it.
Toxic.
Good. Toxic waste.
Toxic waste.
Good
said
try.
Wolf. I can't think why people would dump them where they could do so much harm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad the otters will be safe.
I'm glad the otters
will be safe on the island now, said Anina. I'm glad the otters will be safe on the island now, said Anina. And at the end of the week, there was a party. Mrs. May played her guitar and everyone sang songs. Mrs. Honey came. She told the children stories about some of the animals. She had looked after. She told the children stories about some of the animals she had looked after. But you have the best story to tell, she said. Best story to tell.
Don't say best story.
Best story to tell.
Best story.
Best story
no,
to
best story. No, best story.
Best story.
Yeah, it's best story, but when you read them together, you say best story.
To tell, she said.
No, you try.
Best story.
No, but you have the best story to tell.
But you have the best story to tell,
no,
she said.
But you have the best story to tell.
But you have the best story to
no,
tell.
Don't say best story. Don't say that.
Best.
You have the best story to tell.
But you have the best story to tell.
Great.
She said, it isn't every school trip that becomes famous.
That becomes famous.
Becomes famous.
Right.
A photographer came. She made everyone stand in a group.
In a group.
Then she took a
Photograph.
We're going to be in the newspaper, said Wolf. We're going to be famous.
We are going to be famous.
We are going to be famous. I've never been famous before, said Chip. I wonder what it feels like. Well done, and thank you for saving Green Island. Sorry.
It's okay. What about?
The sea otter.
Oh, yes. Hiding under the table.
Yes.
Why the sea otter is here?
I don't know.
Okay.
With no water.
Right. But they can breathe without water.
Yes.
I guess.
And a dog.
And little dog eating.
Doggy.
What?
Doggy.
Doggy. Okay, eating what?
Yeah. A chicken.
You think?
Yeah.
Could be turkey. Could be turkey too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The next day, the story of the Green Island was in the news. The next day, the story of Green Island was in the
newspaper.
The children were excited. I'm going to buy 3 newspapers, said Chip. 1 for me, 1 for my mom and dad, and 1 for Gran. Now I'm famous. I don't feel any different, said Wolf.
They're famous. They'll be on the newspaper.
Kids save island from Kids save island from
toxic.
No,
look at me. Toxic
time
bomb. Okay.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.
What?
Like this.
What?
I'm reading this of letters. These letters are big, but this letter is too small.
This is not letter. This is newspaper.
Letter, like great things by...
the words. Okay. Because it's newspaper. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.